Hello, my friend, and namaste. Thank you for clicking on this video. I call this my Lightwalker Address, and this addresses something in me, a voice that can't always come out in my Namaste Today rituals. And I try to be very ritualistic in my show, so you have a little spiritual breakfast every morning, and I can't always get into these broader pictures. So this is a Lightwalker Address, which comes down to a couple things. I'm going to always time them with my reading sales, because they're rightly timed, because I'm trying to give everyone an idea. Okay, this is the big picture of where things are going, and really the Taurus in me is like, so if you need a reading, you should know now. You know what I mean? Like, so it just fits in my logic. So I'm going to say, I want you to know that there's a reading sale, and you should listen if things resonate for you. But I also want to have a time where I regularly put out these videos, so tying it to reading sales for me is just like a way to always make sure I do it. And it's just to share some of the trends I'm seeing with all of the readings I do. I'm very fortunate to be able to serve people, many people, and get really a lot of feedback. I'll say that everyone is, in the groups of souls I've been helping, everyone truly is shifting to a new person inside of them. Everyone is coming into a new light. And people are looking for affirmation or for an idea of what their life purpose is. People are really constantly opening up to their past lives now. People are wanting to have a full resolution, understanding of their story and where their story is headed. So that's where I've been doing a lot of my work, mostly helping people find their story. And a lot of my viewers are all healers themselves, practitioners themselves, or working to become, and are actually ready to become. So many clients, many. I say droves and droves of clients. I'm helping to begin their journey as being actual leaders themselves, healers themselves, doing their own light walking, and me being able to be of assist in that. I'm greatly and I think and this will go to what I want to say in my Lightwalker Address, which is I think it all points to what I see in the planets, and what I see in the planets is a re-evolution coming. I think that the Bernie Sanders voice is a foreshadow of things to come, whether it's Bernie or not. His definite role was to start putting out there that we have a rigged economy, a rigged this, a rigged that. I also think that the role of our future should greatly include women, far more than it ever has. That our future must have full female support. The matriarch and patriarch cannot fight. They must be friends and working together now. That means equal pay, all this stuff too. So I think that Hillary's voice is correct. And, the Donald Trump voice, I'll just say that it's that angry voice. And that angry voice is always present at a re-evolution. It was angry people that dumped tea into the sea. Trust me, they were angry. If it was back in the American Revolution, they would have been Trump followers that did the Tea Party most likely. And I'm not saying our forefathers had the mind of Trump. I'm saying that there was that angry faction that was there as well. So Sensei is seeing everything come together now. And we have now, at least in this, between now and the next sale, we have a grand square. We're at an all stop. We have Mars retrograde. And what I see is that the character that you are in the grand play of what the world's about to do. And what I know is, you might have known this too, we were born for a certain reason, we were born to do a certain thing. That time is here. And you might go, everyone's at the same time? Yes. Some things generationally define everyone at the same time. Of course, it's often things like world wars and things like that. But every so often, it is a human-driven desire to change. And that's what we're about to do. And I think a lot of my clients are past life Atlantis. A lot of my clients are past life Christian church that want to change, make spirituality come out again. Like, we're totally pro-Christ for lifetimes and now want to find a way for it all to work out. So you can see in people's personal stories that we are evolving into this point of awareness. And you could almost say that, like, the difference between now and the last democracy, or last 1776, the last time Pluto was in Capricorn, to give the astrological citation, is back then there was a small group of men who were enlightened. Now we have a major percentage of the population. I mean, major compared to that circle of men that went to the Senate. We now have a population of diversity, education, African American, Asian, all these different intelligences. now our intelligentsia, as we say, is far more enlightened in a broader spoke. God has put down 1 million light walkers for this moment, I believe, in the United States alone, who are all holding space for the right direction in the light, each having different roles at different places, different times, that are all essential. I think we all have come here for some sort of shift. So, from this, in this grand square, it's time to let go. I guess if you want to put it back into American colonial times, which I think helps, because when you think about it from, 1776, we've been pounded, our American history. And you know that was the last time Pluto was in Capricorn. That was the last time the world went through a re-evolution of the rules, okay? But when you look back at that time, it's somewhat helpful, because it kind of helps you to understand, how to deal with today, So looking back, it's like, the truth is that there was taxation without representation. They felt like they didn't have representation of where their money was going. They felt it was a rigged economy, okay? They thought the king was rigged. And they were in a place where, at this weird time, kind of had to decide, where they stood. So people were quietly making decisions about where they were going to stand way before there was a revolution. They had to make a choice because they could see their neighbors were heating up, and they could see things were going to shift. And so there was this time where you had to decide what your own character was going to be. And that's where you are. You're at a time of defining your character. Everyone is right now. And this new Mars retrograde and the grand square is the old character being brought down, the one that basically, pre-1760s was maybe just focused on survival, focused on getting the log cabin up, focused on, dealing with the Indians, focused on not starving to death. That ego part of us, to put it in colonial times, is dying now. And now we're becoming new citizens. The ego is no longer threatened on survival on the level of wilderness. It's threatened on survival now on the level of, my country, my children surviving. So it's a shift of their ego. We're doing that same shift, and the planets were in a similar lineup. It's really interesting to watch. So you're making a decision now. Basically, deciding with love or deciding with fear, that's really the whole thing, if you don't understand it. But we're putting down, society is putting down its fight or flight survival issues. And even though you see the economy crapping and whatnot, we actually are not afraid of collapse anymore. We're not afraid of getting through a hard time anymore. Our collective consciousness really is at a point where we can look at what we ought to do versus what we have done. And to follow what we ought to do means that inside of you, you must follow what you ought to do. And if you follow what you ought to do, you will play the important part of where you will be in this re-evolution. And everyone will play a part. Everyone plays a part. This is a collective collateral consciousness shift that is clearly building to a head. And between now and my next time in front of you, probably I'll come back in front with another video after Mars goes direct. The collective conscious is going to have a lot of conversation, Gemini, and searching our feelings, Cancer, about this new male inside of us, or this new character that we must become. But the way God always works is you have to become it first before you see it on stage. And that's what this next period is. Anything else I want to say about this? Yes, the last thing I just want to leave here in this Lightwalker address is it all comes down to belief. Saturn's in Sagittarius. So Saturn is retrograde also. And so we're going back, we're reconsidering decisions, reconsidering what we have been, reconsidering what we have believed or what we said we would do. And a lot of people, myself included, it's like you might have said, even the presidential race, you were for this candidate. Well, what if this one doesn't work out? And now now you have two different candidates, the lesser of two evils, or maybe not. So, no matter what you thought you believed, people are going to be changing their beliefs. But belief is what your heart wanted to do, wanted to create, the country you wanted. So to put it back in that colonial time, what country do you wish it was? What do you wish it was for yourself? What do you wish it was for your, for the people? But for you, what you believe is actually what you wish. And what you have to ask yourself is like, do I really believe that? I do. And that's where you are now on the road to this new character. All right, so fascinating times, and I can't wait to talk again. But of course, I'll be guiding day by day, but I want to give that longer scope. I think that who we're about to become inside is the character we'll play in the re-evolution. I think the re-evolution is a ways off. From what I can calculate, 2018 is when it starts to get really heated, which means that whatever president is in the chair is going to inherit the first wave. So it is what it is. Be who you're meant to be, stand by your beliefs, and we will be there together. Until next time, namaste.